Hello everyone. Am I audible to everyone? Hello everyone and a very good afternoon. Dear authors and invited guests, welcome to the technical session 4B. Myself Srusti Rokde and this session would be moderated by me. So on behalf of the Global Knowledge Research Foundation and Intelligence and Business Strategies, TIBS 2026. This conference is being organized in hybrid mode. The physical event was held yesterday in Manila, Philippines, and the virtual event is being held through the Zoom from 23rd and 24th June 2026. I hope you will enjoy the knowledgeable and interactive sessions through the day. And in this session, we have 8 presentations. Each presenter will be given 12 minutes for the presentation and 3 minutes for the question answers. On 10 minutes, I will give a gentle reminder to all of you. So there is another request too, that to all the participants that you all should stay connected with us till the closing remarks. And if you have any query or update, then you can write it to me in the chat box. Just from before the session start, I want to mention one thing. That we have our session chairs with us. And I would like to introduce our session chairs to all of you. The first one we have here is Dr. Saurabh Sandhyala, Professor, Faculty of Computer Engineering, Purnima University, Jaipur. And second, Dr. Fusani Unsaha, Lecturer, Department of Mathematics and ICT Education, Faculty of Education, University for Development Studies, Ghana. Sir, I would like to call Sir to give a remark before we start the session. Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible. We can start,
Okay, fine.
please.
So the first author, I would like to call the first author, Srimati Divyashree DV, who has the paper A Novel Deep Learning Framework for Predicting Obesity Risk with reference to Tumkur University. Ma'am, can you please share your screen and start your presentation? Uh, if no, we can move forward with the second paper, that is Augmenting AI Literacy in Bachelor of Science in Information Technology using TPAC and SAMR frameworks by an author, Mark Terry D. Coben. Uh, mm, are you in this meeting?
Good afternoon, Miss. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. You can share your screen and start the presentation.
So, good afternoon, everyone, panelists, and ladies and gentlemen. Today, I will be presenting the research entitled Augmenting AI Literacy with the Bachelor of Science in Information Technology using the TPAC and SAMR frameworks conducted by me and Sir John Alfred Aginto. My name is Mark Teddy D. Kiban from Universidad de Dagupan. So, this study investigates how a structured AI literacy intervention using the generative AI technologies can improve the AI literacy for first year BSIT students. So the artificial intelligence has become an essential part of education, industry, and everyday life. And of course, as AI technology continue to evolve, students are increasingly expected to understand not only how these technologies work, but also how to use them responsibly. And of course, generative AI tools such as ChatGPT provide opportunities for personalizing learning, immediate feedback, and enhanced engagement. However, improper use may also lead to misinformation, reliance on technology, and ethical concerns. And because of these challenges, developing AI literacy has become increasingly important in higher education. Okay, so despite the widespread adoption of AI technologies, many students still lack sufficient knowledge and understanding of AI tools Existing studies have examined AI adoption and acceptance, but limited research has focused specifically on structured AI literacy interventions among first-year Bachelor of Science in Information Technology students in the Philippine higher education context. And this gap provided the motivation for conducting the present study. Of course, the main objective of this study was to determine the effectiveness of a structured AI literacy intervention using the generative AI technologies. And of course, the study aimed to first assess the students' AI literacy before the intervention. Second is to assess the students' AI literacy after the intervention. And of course, third is to compare or determine whether a significant difference exists between the pretest and post-test scores. And of course, finally, to evaluate the effectiveness of AI literacy activities guided by the TPAC and SAMWARE frameworks. So before we proceed to other topics, of course, let us know what frameworks we have used on this research. So the first framework utilized in this study is the technological pedagogical content knowledge, or the TPAC framework. The TPAC emphasizes the integration of three important knowledge domains, which is the technology knowledge, or the TK, which refers to understanding technological tools, and pedagogical knowledge, which focuses on effective teaching strategies. And of course, the content knowledge, which refers to the mastery of the subject matter. And of course, by combining these domains, the educators can design meaningful learning experiences that effectively integrate technology into instruction. Okay. So the second framework is the SAMR framework, or the SAMR model. So the SAMR consists of four levels of technology: the substitution, where technology acts as is a direct replacement for a traditional tools; and of course, augmentation, where the technology provides the functional improvements; and of course, modification, where technology significantly redesigns learning activities; and of course, redefinition, where technology enables entirely new learning experiences that were previously impossible. So this framework helped structure the AI-assisted learning activities implemented in the study. So the next one, the intervention combined with the both TPAC and SAMR was guided alignment with technology and pedagogy and content, of course. Meanwhile, some are structured learning activities from basic knowledge technology use to more transformative applications. And this framework guided activities were expected uh, to improve students' conceptual understanding, practical AI skills, and of course, the ethical awareness. So proceeding with the slide, the study employed a one-group post-test, a pre-test, post-test, quasi-experimental research design, and the participants completed a pre-test before the intervention and a post-test after the intervention. This design allowed the researchers to measure the changes in AI literacy resulting from the AI-assisted learning activities. So the study involved 45 first-year Bachelor of Science in Information Technology students from University of Dagupan. And of course, those first-year students were intentionally selected because early exposure to AI concepts can help establish foundational knowledge. And of course, apart from that, the sampling we have used is the purposive selection, or the purposive sampling. And course, apart from that, ethical awareness that are important in AI-driven learning environments. Okay, so next one is the primary student used in the study was the generative AI literacy assessment test, or the GLAT. So the instrument measured on the three dimensions, the conceptual understanding of AI, the practical skills in using AI tools, and of course the ethical awareness related to AI use. And in addition, students completed hands-on ChatGPT activities and ethical reflection exercises. Of course, the intervention began with the administration of GLAD pretest. Students then participated in structured AI literacy activities using ChatGPT, and these activities included coursework, related tasks, code generation exercises, scenario-based learning, and ethical reflection activities. And after the completion of the intervention, the students took the GLAT post-test to measure the learning gains. And of course, for data analysis, the descriptive statistics such as the mean standard deviation, minimum score, and maximum score were computed, and to determine whether the significant differences existed between the pre-test and post-test scores, a sample pair t-test was conducted using the IBM SPSS statistics, and the significance was set to 0.05. Okay, so the table presents the descriptive statistics. So the pretest mean score was 5.84 with a standard deviation of 1.41, and after after the intervention, the post-test means increased to 8.9 with a standard deviation of 1.49. And these results indicate to an improvement with the students' literacy following participation in the intervention. As you can see, the mean gain is 3.12 points from 5.84 and 8.96. So next, to determine whether the observed improvement was statistically significant, a paired sample t-test was performed. The analysis yielded t-value of negative 14.10 with the 44 degrees of freedom and the p-value of less than 0.001. Okay, so since the p-value is lower than the 0.05 significance level, and the null hypothesis was rejected. And this indicates that the statistically significant difference existed between the pretest and the post-test scores. And after that, in addition to the statistical significance, the study also measured the magnitude of the intervention's effect using the Cohen's d, and the computed effect size was 2.10 or 2.10. According to the conventional interpretation, a Cohen's d value greater than 0.80 is considered large. Therefore, a value of 2.10 or 2.10 indicates a very large effect size, suggesting that the intervention produced substantial learning gains. And of course, the findings suggest that the AI literacy instruction can significantly improve students' understanding and use of generative AI technologies. Students demonstrated improvements in conceptual knowledge, practical AI skills, and ethical awareness. And these findings support previous studies highlighting the benefits of purposeful and guided AI integration in education. And of course, the effectiveness of the intervention can be attributed to the use of TPAC and SAMR frameworks, and TPAC ensured alignment between content and pedagogy and technology. And of course, meanwhile, SAMR facilitated progression from the basic AI use toward more meaningful and transformative learning experiences. Together, these frameworks supported the effective AI integration in instruction. And of course, despite with the positive findings and several limitations should be acknowledged, the study utilized a one-group post-test and designed with a control group, and the sample was limited only to 45 students from a single institution, which is the Universidad de Dagupan, and the GLAT instrument was shortened to 12 items only, and additionally, only ChatGPT was used during the intervention. These limitations should be considered when interpreting the results. And of course, based on the findings, future studies may utilize larger sample sizes and of course include control groups to strengthen causal evidence. And of course, researchers may also explore additional AI literacy in instruments and other AI platforms. For educators, training in TPAC and SAMR frameworks is recommended. And of course, the study further suggests that integrating AI literacy throughout the BSIT curriculum to promote sustainable development of AI-related competencies. And of course, in conclusion, the results indicate that the integrating generative AI technologies through the TPAC and SAMR frameworks significantly enhance the AI literacy of first-year BSIT students. And of course, the intervention improved conceptual understanding, practical AI skills, and ethical awareness. And these findings highlight the value of structured and responsible AI integration in higher education, and support efforts to prepare students for increasingly AI-driven academic and professional environments. And that concludes the presentation. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I am now ready for your questions and discussion.
Yes, what is AI literacy? I just want to ask, and why it is important for Bachelor of Science in Information Technology for students.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for that wonderful question. AI literacy is the knowledge on how to use AI itself, like for example, on how we use ChatGPT, Gemini, or whatever models we use. It's like on how we use them in our everyday lives. Uh, the literacy itself is just it's the knowledge you have
Okay,
if you
just
know.
tell me what are the key components of TPACK?
The TPAC, the technological, pedagogical, content knowledge.
Okay, from my side, we can go for next, or
Okay,
sir,
so,
you.
Thank you so
thank you
much.
so much. So we would now move on to the next presentation that we have. So next coming up, we have a paper titled as Designing for Inclusion Strategies and Practices in Online Distance Education at a Philippine Open University by Philip Kuroda. Sir, are you in the meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
You can share your screen and start your presentation.
Okay, so good evening. I am Dr. Philip G. Quiroda from Pangasinan State University, Open University Systems from the Philippines. This presentation discusses the study Designing for Inclusion, Strategies and Practices in Online Distance Education at a Philippine Open University. Inclusive ODEL or open distance e-learning requires more than access. It demands intentional design, flexibility, and accessibility. Guided by UDL principles, institutions can address learner diversity through multiple means of engagement, representation, and expression. Despite progress, challenges remain, including inaccessible learning materials, complex learning management systems, and limited faculty readiness. Therefore, inclusion must be embedded in institutional policies and practices to ensure equitable learning opportunities for all students. This study used a descriptive survey design to examine faculty and student perceptions of inclusive practices. Stratified random sampling ensured representation from different groups and program levels, and the research instrument underwent expert validation and reliability testing. Data were collected through Google Forms and managed in compliance with the Data Privacy Act of 2012. Descriptive statistics were used to analyze and interpret the results. Findings showed that all four domains of inclusive practice were rated highly utilized, demonstrating a strong institutional commitment to inclusion. UDL-based design obtained the highest mean of 4.16, followed by collaborative learning at 3.86, personalized learning at 3.81, and accommodations and modifications at 3.79. These results indicate that inclusive practices are consistently integrated into instructional processes, creating a learner-centered and accessible online environment. UDL-based instructional design emerged as the strongest domain, with a weighted mean of 4.16. The highest rated indicators included clear learning objectives, faculty professional development, and collaborative learning opportunities. These findings suggest that faculty intentionally designed flexible and accessible learning experiences, while assessment and learner expression were highly rated. Multiple means of representation received the lowest score, indicating a need for more diverse and accessible learning resources. The collaborative learning domain achieved a weighted mean of 3.86, indicating strong implementation. Highly rated indicators included accessible digital materials, inclusive learning activities, and diverse group participation, faculty development, and varied communication methods also supported learner engagement. However, technology in collaborative activities and family or caregiver involvement received lower ratings, suggesting opportunities to improve participation and support for all learners. Accommodations and modifications obtained a weighted mean of 3.79, reflecting a highly utilized level. Accessible communication channels and application of UDL principles received the highest ratings. Faculty training and accessible course materials also contributed to positive results. Nevertheless, assistive technologies and the systematic delivery of accommodations received lower scores, highlighting the need for greater investment in support services and accessibility tools. The personalized learning domain achieved a weighted mean of 3.81. Instructor-student communication, flexible pacing, and student feedback received the highest ratings, indicating strong support for learner autonomy. Additional strengths included content customization and progress monitoring. However, student participation in personalized learning initiatives and the use of personalized platforms received lower scores, suggesting the need to strengthen technology-enabled personalization and learner engagement. Although inclusive practices were strongly implemented, several areas remain below global expectations. The most significant challenge is limited integration of assistive technologies. Weaknesses were also identified in monitoring and evaluation systems, family involvement, and the use of adaptive digital platforms. Addressing these gaps will require stronger policies, enhanced faculty development, and improved infrastructure and sustained investment in inclusive technologies. So the findings demonstrate that PSU-OUS has established a strong framework for digital inclusion in ODEL. Effective implementation of UDL, collaborative learning, accommodations, and personalized learning has created a learner-centered educational environment. These strengths promote flexibility, engagement, and equity. However, continued improvement in assistive technology and data gathering monitoring is essential to ensure more inclusive and future-ready online education. This study highlights the importance of creating inclusive learning environments that support the diverse needs of online learners. So the findings provide valuable guidance for institutions seeking to improve accessibility, participation, and success in open and distance e-learning. Thank you for your time and attention.
So the next presentation we have is of entrepreneurial efforts and opportunity cost as determinants of monetization performance among micro Valorant streamers in Indonesia. It is presented by Zara Medila Hafiza. Ma'am, are you in the meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can present your screen and start the session.
Wait, give me a second. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning into my session. Today, I hope my voice and screen are coming through clearly to wherever you are joining from. My name is Zahra Medila Hafiza, and today, along with my co-author, Julieta Mimi from Telkom University, I'm excited to present our research titled Entrepreneurial Effort and Opportunity Cost as Determinants of Monetization Performance among Microvalorant Streamers in Indonesia. We wanted to look past the usual gaming hype and answer a very real economic questions. What actually helps small-scale content creators turn their gaming passion into a sustainable digital business? Okay, take a look to the slide. The live streaming phenomenon in Indonesia has completely exploded. Platforms like TikTok Live, YouTube, and Twitch have turned gaming from a hobby into a legitimate platform-based digital entrepreneurship opportunity. Especially the game Valorant has built a massive streaming subculture in Southeast Asia since 2020. Now, when we think about gaming influencers, we usually picture the superstar with millions of followers. But here is the catch. Micro streamers, those with only 500 to 10,000 followers, actually make up the absolute largest percentage of creators. Yet they are the least studied. These micro streamers face a tough reality. Their income is highly volatile and they deal with massive opportunity costs. Every hour spent streaming to a handful of viewers is an hour they sacrifice instead of focusing on their university degree, studying, and working. So what makes them cross the line into successful monetization? Okay, so to address this gap, our study answered three primary research questions. The first one is, how does entrepreneurial effort influence monetization outcomes? The second one, how does opportunity cost influence these outcomes? And the last is, what happens when we look at both factors together? Consequently, we formulated three hypotheses. Hypothesis one is entrepreneurial effort positively correlates with monetization performance. Hypothesis two, opportunity costs impact monetization performance. And the last hypothesis three is both variables jointly and positively influence monetization performance. Okay, for the methodology, we use a quantitative explanatory research designed to model this cause and effect relationship. We focus on a community-defined population of 133 active Indonesian Valorant micro streamers. Out of this group, we gather a target purposive sample of 1,000. 100 active respondents. The data was then analyzed using structural equation modeling partial least square or SIMPLS through smart PLS software. As you can see in the table on your screen, we broke our variables down into primary indicators. The first one is entrepreneurial effort, SX1. We measured this by looking at how consistent they are with their streaming schedule, how creative their content is, and how actively they interact with their viewers. The second one, we have opportunity cost, SX2. We measure the trade-off they make, such as giving up free time, losing potential income from regular jobs, or making academic and professional sacrifices. And the last is monetization performance, SY. We look at their actual revenue growth, how stable their monthly income is, and how diverse their income sources are, like donation, subscription, and sponsorship. Okay, before moving to hypothesis testing, we first evaluated our measurement model to ensure the data was valid and reliable. As shown in table, all construct comfortably exceeded standard academic threshold. Specifically, our Chrome batch alpha
Excuse
and
me. Excuse me. Can I ask what entrepreneurial efforts significantly influence the mentioned performance of micro virulent streamers for Indonesia?
uh,
Yes.
okay, wait. Uh, so the impact is the path coefficient for the testing. We sorry, sir, is entrepreneurial effort, right?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. So entrepreneurial effort encompasses active and sustaining action such as keeping consistent swimming schedule. It's grinding or more hour of doing better tools. Alone in insufficient, while consistent effort help build audience trust and loyalty. They must be paired with the economic freedom to focus on the platform activities. I, I think uh, we can move with the next slide, sir, because I will explain the
Yes.
more.
You may
Yeah,
proceed. Yes, you may proceed.
sorry.
No issue. You may proceed for next channel. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next slide is okay. This is the hypothesis testing result. So HR for the bootstrapping analysis fully supported all three hypotheses. Hypothesis one is supported. Entrepreneurial effort X1 has a significant positive effect on monetization. Why? With a path coefficient of 0.174 and a t statistic of 2.001. So hypothesis 2 is supported. Opportunity cost or X2 exert a much stronger positive effect with a path coefficient of 0.501 and a highly significant t statistic of 5.958. Okay, the last is hypothesis 3 is also supported. The joint model yield and R square of 0.303, meaning that together both variable explain 30.3% of the variance in monetization performance. The model also show good predictive relevance with Q square of 0.220. Crucially, the effect size or F square show a stark contrast, like entrepreneurial effort has a small effect. The F square is 0.043, while opportunity cost has a large effect. The F square is 0.355. Yeah, what is the real world takeaway here? It proves that for a micro streamer, financial success isn't just about grinding out more hours or working harder. It is heavily driven by the economic condition that dictate how deeply they can afford to commit to streaming. In a developing market context, like Indonesia, alternative employment option for youth can sometimes be limited or less appealing. Because of this, when alternative options are low, a swimmer's commitment to their platform becomes much more focused and prioritized. They view it as a real business opportunity, which paradoxically leads to much better, more optimized monetization outcomes. Okay, to conclude our presentation today, let's look at the broader impact. The first one is for theoretically, this study adds crucial survey-based empirical data to digital entrepreneurship studies, specifically looking at a live streaming platform outside of Western markets. For practically, it highlight that if we want to help micro streamer boost their income, telling them to just buy better equipment or stream more incompletely insufficient. For the industry, live streaming platform must design better, more sustainable monetization and incentive infrastructures if they want to retain their massive army or micro creators. And the last, for future research, we suggest that future researchers combine this type of perceptual survey data with direct back-end behavioral data from the platform while expanding the scope beyond the game niche. Okay, that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I would now like to open the floor to any question, feedback, or
No,
discussion you may have.
thank you. No query from my end. We can go for next.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Now we will move to the next presentation. So for the next presentation, we have a predictive analysis of faculty promotions in state universities using machine learning and document image processing on personal data and individual performance commitment reviews by Ronald A. De La Cruz. Sir, are you in the meeting? Ronald A. De La Cruz. If I guess they are not in the meeting, we can move forward. If another author is there, they can continue. Okay, we are moving forward.
Yes, you may please. No need to ask.
Yes. So the next paper we have is Satisfaction in Every Bite, Consumer Preferences for Traditional versus Modern Adobo Preparation by Jessilyn B. Gloria. Ma'am, can you present your screen?
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
तो आएगा मैं करा दूंगा।
Okay, a pleasant evening to everyone. My name is Jessilyn B. Gloria from the National University of Das Marinas. I will be presenting our study, Satisfaction in Every Bite, the consumer's preference for traditional versus modern adobo preparation. Adobo is a dish widely recognized in the Philippines as the unofficial national dish, symbolizing household traditional and cultural. However, modern interpretations incorporating fusion flavors, alternative cooking methods, and health-conscious modified emerged. As consumers' preferences continues to evolve, understanding the satisfaction with traditional modern adobo has become increasingly important. Therefore, this study investigates the preferences for traditional versus the modern adobo preparations. For the research questions, the first one is how do consumers perceive the taste of traditional versus modern adobo preparation and how does this affects their overall satisfaction. The second question is in what way does aroma influence consumers' preferences between traditional and modern adobo? How does the presentation of adobo contribute to consumers' satisfaction and choices? And the fourth question of this research is to what extent do health consideration shape consumer preferences for traditional versus modern adobo? And for the last question of this research, how does cultural relevance influence satisfaction and preferences for either traditional and modern adobo? For the research design, this employs quantitative research with involved 100 respondents purposely selected from the residents of Cavite in the Philippines. For data collections, survey questionnaire was collected from the 100 purposely selected residents in specific subdivision. Participants were chosen for their familiarity with Filipino practices and experience both for traditional and modern adobo. For questions, we have the researchers have developed validated by experts in two parts: demographic profile, such as the age, gender, occupation, lifestyle, food trends, exposure, and the second part is evaluation of adobo on taste in terms of aroma, presentation, health, and cultural relevance using the 4-point Likert scale, strongly disagree to strongly agree, without the neutral option. For data analysis, we use the survey using descriptive analysis, using the frequency, mean, percentage, and Likert scales. This is to establish the patterns of use. For the procedures, preparation of the research instrument, of course, the structured questionnaire was developed based on the taste, aroma, presentation, health consideration, and cultural relevance. We also secure a permission of formal consent was sought from the subdivision management for household residents from the data collection. Selection of the respondents were using purposive samples. Data collection, survey questionnaires were distributed either printed copies or through a secured online form depending on the respondents' preferences. Retrieval of the organization's data, completed questionnaires were collected, tallied, and encoded in Microsoft Excel. For the data analysis, descriptive statistics is being used. And for the interpretation, reporting findings interpreted in relation to existing literature, Filipino cultural identity, and consumer satisfaction. For the result, respondents are commonly aged 33 up to 37, and most of them are female. Population would compose of students, and frequency of consuming adobo dish is once a week. And for the aroma, for the taste, sorry. For the taste, we have result 2.92 that agreed that taste can be a key factor of adobo preferences, but with a slight preference for traditional adobo due to its more satisfying flavor and balance of taste. For the aroma, 3.17 of respondents strongly agree that aroma significantly influenced their adobo preference. And for the presentation, respondents agree that presentation affects their adobo experience. And for the health considerations, the respondents got composite with a mean of 2.88 that says health consideration influence their adobo preferences. And for the cultural relevance, respondents of 2.74 composite weighted means agree that cultural relevance influences their adobo preferences. Now for the total or overall satisfaction, composite weighted mean of 3.13 respondents are highly satisfied with adobo overall, with a slightly reference to modern version. Now in summary, overall, the respondents are mostly middle-aged adults, predominantly female, and largely composed of students and private sector's employees. Adobo is commonly consumed at least once a week. Taste, aroma, and the strongest flavor influencing preferences, followed by health, presentation, and cultural relevance. Respondents shows high overall satisfaction with adobo, with a slight preference for modern version while still valuing traditional adobo for its flavor and cultural heritage. In conclusion, the study concludes that taste, aroma mainly shape respondents' adobo preferences, with traditional adobo preparation favored for its authentic flavor and sensory appeal. Presentation, health, and cultural relevance also influence perception but are less significant. Traditional adobo is valued for cultural heritage and pride, while modern adobo is appreciated for innovation, satisfaction. Both for version complement each other, reflecting a balance of tradition and innovation for Filipino dining. For the recommendation, culinary practitioners can emphasize authentic traditional flavors, offer creative, modern, and healthier versions, and improve presentation. While for the researchers, uh, study regional preferences and health perception to guide recipes development. For cultural advocates, promote traditional adobo as cultural heritage, showcase a modern version. And for the consumers, if they can explore both traditional and modern adobo for a balanced experience. And that's all for my part. I am now ready for your question.
Okay, ma'am. Since he has no question, you can move forward with the presentation. Thank you so much for your amazing presentation.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
It was great. It was great hearing from you. So we can move to the next presentation now.
Thank you so much.
So the next presentation we have of the paper, The Influence of Technology Acceptance and Perceived Value on the Intention to Use Artificial Intelligence in Digital Finance by Brian Broadmira. So, are you in the meeting?
Yes, I am.
You can
Wait.
present your screen and start the presentation.
Wait. Is the screen already appeared?
It is a black screen, sir.
Wait, yeah. Is it already appearing in the screen?
Yes, sir, it is visible now.
Okay. Good afternoon, committee and everyone in this room. We are glad to welcome you to our presentation today. We are excited to present our research. The title is The Influence of Technology, Acceptance and Perceived Value on the Intention to Use Artificial Intelligence in Digital Finance. My name is Brady Bradmira, and together with my co-author from Yunus University, Indonesia, we conducted this study to answer a very important question. What actually make user want to use AI digital human advisor in their daily digital finance services? In this presentation, we will take you through the background of our study, the core problems, what we found, the research model, our empirical findings, and finally, the major application for both academic theory and the real-world business practices. Okay, before we dive to the details, here is the structural outline of today's presentation. We will start with the introduction, where we discuss the current situation of AI in Indonesia and the main problems we want to solve. And then we will move to the literature review and show you how we develop our 7 hypotheses. And after that, we will explain the research methods, including our target population and how we collect data. And next, we will present the statistical result and open the deep discussion about what this number actually mean. To close the presentation, we will summarize our conclusion, share the limitation of our study, and provide clear ideas for the future research. Okay. Let's begin with the introduction. Today, we can see that artificial intelligence is growing incredibly fast in the financial sector. One of the most interesting innovation is the rise of AI digital human advisor. These modern systems are designed to give personalized financial advice and help users to make smart financial decisions and much faster and efficiently. However, there are still big problems in the market. Even though the technology is very advanced, many users still highly uncertain about relying the AI-generated decisions. People naturally worry about data security, privacy, and trust when they give control of their money to an automated algorithm. From the academic sides, we found the major research gap from the other study. The usually only focus on the basic technology acceptance model. They only test if an app is easy and useful. They did not look deeply at the critical role of trust and multi-dimensional perceive of value. On top of that, the real empirical data regarding this AI phenomenon in Indonesia is still very scarce and hard to find. Therefore, the studies want to bridge this gap. We want to analyze exactly what drives user intention to adopt AI advisor by testing the time factor, perceived trust, and perceived value all together in one comprehensive model. Okay, moving to the literature review. To build a strong foundation for this study, we truly analyzed two main references from the recent literature. First, a study by Iksan investigated how AI being adopted within Indonesia banking sector. The research found that traditional factors like usefulness and ease of use are important, but trust is the ultimate key to make people comfortable to use AI. They also emphasize that without high security and reliability, user will simply reject the technology. Second, the Tang and Sun focus on the concept of perceived value regarding AI digital human advisor in digital finance. They argue that value is not just one simple thing. Instead, it is multidimensional, consisting of functional value, cognitive value, and emotional value. By combining these two frameworks, our study bridges the gap between how a system works technically and how a user values psychologically. Okay, now we're gonna discuss the hypothesis development. As you can see, the research model, we combine the core of variable technology, certain models, with perceived trust and three distinct dimensions of perceived value based on this framework. We propose seven hypotheses. Hypothesis 1 and 2, we propose that perceived ease of use will positively influence both perceived usefulness and the user direct intention to use the app. And hypothesis 3, we propose the perceived usefulness will have direct positive impact on the intention of use. And hypothesis 4, we expect the perceived trust will act as a strong psychological driver to increase the intention of use. And finally, hypothesis 5, 6, and 7, we propose functional value, emotional value, and conditional value will each individually create a positive influence on the ultimate intention of use. In short, this model tests whether technological factor or human value factor matter more in digital finance. Okay, next, let's talk about methodology. This study using a quantitative approach with highly structured online questionnaire. Our target population focus on Indonesian digital finance user who already are familiar with AI-based financial services such as robot advisor or AI customer support. Geographically, we focus our distribution on Jakarta and Banten. To make sure our data sensitive, powerful, and reliable, we use confront formula to calculate minimum sample size with standard 95% confidence level and 5% of margin of error. Our minimum target is 384 respondents. We are happy to report that we successfully collected and verified 419 valid responses. Every respondent had a fast screen question and signed informed consent form before participating. To analyze this data, we use SPSS to clear the basic profit data and SmartPL4 to run partial list structural equation modeling or PLSM. This method is perfect for handling complex exploratory model like ours. Next, we're gonna look at the actual result from our 490 respondents. The gender mix was incredibly balanced. We had 50.4% male and 49.6 female participants. This balance great because it eliminates any gender bias in our data. In terms of age, our sample heavily dominated by Gen Z between 70 and 27 years old, and 100 of them currently pursuing their bachelor degree. Before our hypothesis, we run three strict validation tests on the outer model. First, the 25 measurement items pass the outer loading test because every single score was above 0.70 threshold. Second, our construct show how high internal reliability with composite reliability scores between 0.88 and 0.93, and eighth, values comfortably above 0.050. And third, our discriminant validity was fully confirmed that because all HTMT values were strictly below 0.90. This data prove that our respondent could clearly distinguish between ease of use, trust, and different value types. After this test, we found 5 of 7 hypotheses were statistically supported. Okay, next discussion. Let's look deeper into discussion. The most powerful finding in our structural model is massive impact to perceived ease of use and perceived usefulness. This path achieved massive score 0.703 with value of 26.27. What does this mean in reality? This means that if a financial app confusing or hard to learn, user will immediately assume it's not useful. Interface simplicity is a mandatory or entry point for user to appreciate what AI can actually do. We also discovered that basic of trust, functional value, and perceived usefulness are main direct force that make people want to use the app. However, look the interesting part. Emotional value and conditional value were completely rejected. This unique proof that young Indonesian consumers have a highly pragmatic mindset. When they open the finance app, they do not care about aesthetic or having a virtual AI friend to talk to. They see AI strictly as a practical tool to help them manage money, save time, and reduce error. Okay, next, based on these happy findings, our study offers two vital lessons. First, the theoretical sides. This study successfully expand the traditional TAM model we prove looking at the technology extension alone that is not enough to afford the modern vintage. You must integrate perceived trust and multi-dimensional view of value to get a complete picture of the user behavior. Second, from the practical side of industry, we strongly recommend the utility first strategy from the banking institution and fintech developer in Indonesia. Do not waste corporate budget on building overly complex, emotionally dramatic AI, visual animation. Instead, developer must invest heavily in three core areas: making platform frictionless to navigate, ensuring bulletproof data security, and applying explainable AI. Explainable AI is crucial because it opens the black box and explain clearly to the user exactly how AI a specific financial recommendations. Okay, next the conclusion. To summarize, let us review the structural conclusion of our study. First, perceived ease of use is the most powerful predictor of perceived usefulness. A simple interface is an absolute foundation of any fintech innovation. Second, perceived trust is most the vital psychological safety net because financial decisions involve real money and high risk. Users will only adopt AI advisor if they believe the system has high integrity and can protect their interests.
Can I interrupt you? What is perceived trust?
Sorry, can you repeat the
What
question?
is perceived trust?
Perceive of trust as
Yes. I want to ask about it and how it is useful in your paper.
basically is perceive of trust is how is the most practical psychological safety net because this involve the real money and high risk. People will only use the AI advisor if they believe the system have high integrity and protect their interests. Basically, people is comfortable enough to use the AI to manage their money. Is it my answer good enough? Or I can continue my presentation.
Yes, you may. I
Okay.
think I think it is over. I think it is over. We may. That's good. Thank you. We may go for next presentation. I got
Okay.
your conclusion.
Okay. Second, perceive of trust is most vital psychological safety net because financial decisions involve real money and high risk, as I said. User will only adopt an AI advisor if they believe system has high integrity and can protect the interests. Overall, our model successfully explained 49% of the variance in the user adoption intention. The core takeaway is clear: utility, reliability, and safety will always override emotional feelings when it comes to the AI digital finance. Next, limitation and future avenues. Every scientific
Sir,
research.
excuse me.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. Actually, your time has completed and sir has asked to move to the next session.
Okay. Should I stop share screen?
Yes, great session and a great presentation. Sir
Uh,
has conducted the question session, so we can now move to the next session.
okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, sir. So now I would move to the next session. So the next paper we have is Trading Artificial Intelligence in Education Through Competency Framework for Teachers, CFT, by Jan Alfred A. Quinto. May I have the participant and presenter of this paper
Uh,
in the meeting?
Good afternoon, Miss Shruti. The author is unable to attend today's conference due to
Yes.
emergency circumstances, and I was designated to represent the author and present the paper on their behalf.
Okay.
Should I
Okay, fine. You
proceed?
can continue. Yes, you can
Okay.
continue. Share your screen. Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, I will start now. So, good evening, everyone. I am Mark Teddy D. Kiban, research assistant of Jan Alfred de Quinto of the Ateneo de Manila University. And I will be presenting this paper on behalf of the author. And of course, the title of the study is Threading Artificial Intelligence in Education Through Competency Framework for Teachers, or the CTF. So, this study investigates the AI literacy competency progression of teachers using the UNESCO AI competency framework for teachers, and it identifies the strengths and gaps in their AI related competencies. And of course, artificial intelligence continues to reshape education by providing new opportunities for teaching, learning, assessment, and professional development. And as AI technologies become more accessible, the teachers are expected to develop competencies that allow them to effectively and responsibly integrate these tools into their instructional practices. However, despite the growing use of AI, many educators still have limited formal training related to artificial intelligence, and this creates a need of assess to their level of preparedness and competency. And to address this concern, the study utilized the UNESCO AICTF, or the Competency Framework for Teachers, which provides standards for evaluating teacher readiness in AI integration. And of course, the study had four primary objectives. The first one is to sought to describe the profile of teachers in terms of their position, years in service, and of course, AI-related training attended. Of course, second one is to aim to determine their AI literacy, competency progression level. And of course, third is to examine whether significant differences existed across the teacher profiles. And of course, the last but not the least, it identified which AI competency domains demonstrated the greatest strengths and gaps among respondents. Of course, the study anchored on the UNESCO AI Competency Framework for Teachers, or the CTF, was made on 2024, and the framework consists of five domains: the human-centered mindset, ethics of AI, AI foundations and applications, AI pedagogy, and AI for professional development. And these domains are evaluated across three progression levels, which are acquire, deepen, and create. Of course, acquire level focuses on foundational knowledge and awareness, while the deepen level involves practical application and integration, and the create level represents advanced use, innovation, and contribution to AI-related practices. Of course, the study employed a descriptive quantitative research design with a total of 120 or 120 public high school teachers from Dagupan City, Pangasinan, here in the Philippines. Divisions 1 and 2 participated in the study, and of course, data were collected during or using, using a validated survey questionnaire administered through Google Forms. And the instrument measured teacher competencies across the five domains of the UNESCO AI CTF. So for the data analysis, the study utilized descriptive statistics, particularly mean scores along with the t-test and one-way ANOVA. Okay, so this slide presents the profile of the respondents. The findings show that 91.7% of respondents were teacher 1 to teacher 3. Furthermore, 92.5% reported having no formal AI-related training. Of course, in terms of teaching experience, 55.8% had only have only 1 to 5 years of service or experience, and these findings indicate that the majority of respondents were early career teachers who had limited exposure to formal AI training opportunities. And of course, despite this, they were already using or utilizing AI tools in their educational activities. And of course, this slide represents the AI literacy competency progression levels across the five domains, and the results show that the respondents um, consistently obtained the highest mean scores under the acquire level, with the highest acquire level scores were observed with the ethics of AI and AI for professional development. Overall, teachers demonstrated foundational knowledge, awareness, and basic competencies related to AI. However, the progression toward the deepen, which is in the middle one, as we can see here, remained limited. Of course, therefore, the study concluded that respondents generally remain at the acquired stage of AI competency development. And of course, to determine whether the um, teacher characteristics influence AI competency progression, this study examined different across positions, years in service, and training attended. The results revealed no significant differences across all profile variables. This means that the respondents demonstrated similar AI competency levels regardless of their professional position, years of experience, or participation in AI-related training. And of course, the findings suggest that many teachers have developed their AI competencies through self-directed learning and exploration rather than formal institutional programs. And of course, this slide highlights the strongest and the weakest competency domains identified in the study. And of course, the highest competency score was observed in the AI professional development with a mean score of 3.43. This indicates that the respondents were relatively confident using AI tools to support their professional learning and development. Meanwhile, the lowest score was found in the human-centered mindset domain. And the study also identified a statistically significant gap between human-centered mindset and AI for professional development. Well, this suggests that while teachers are increasingly using AI for professional growth, greater emphasis is needed on maintaining human-centered principles and critical judgment when integrating AI into education. For the final slide, in conclusion, the study found that most respondents were early career teachers with the limited formal AI training, and of course, overall, their artificial intelligence competency remained at the acquired level, indicating foundational knowledge and basic application skills. No significant differences were found across the teacher profiles. However, a significant gap was identified between human-centered mindset and AI for professional development. Based on these findings, the study recommends that the implementation of structured AI literacy training programs, the development of institutional AI policies, and continued support for teachers to progress toward the deepen and create competency levels. This concludes the presentation, and thank you for your attention. And I welcome any questions on behalf of the author. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sir, do you have any questions? I guess he was having some network issue. So we may proceed further. Thank you so much for presenting. So
You're
now
welcome, miss.
I would like to
Good evening, ma'am.
ask
Sorry,
that the
my
first paper.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm
Divyashree.
conducting
Yes.
the same.
Okay.
Okay, so the first paper was remaining, that is a novel deep learning framework for predicting obesity risk with reference to Tumkur City by Srimati Divyashree Devi. So, ma'am, you can share your screen and present.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'll just share the screen. Good evening to the respected panel member and all the participants present here. Myself, Srimati Divyashree Devi, research scholar at Siddhartha Academy of Higher Education, Tumkur. Under the guidance of Dr. Ramesh, I am presenting a paper on a novel deep learning framework for predicting obesity risk with reference to Tumkur City. The main aim of this research is to develop a region-specific artificial neural network model that predicts obesity risk by combining physiological, behavioral, and environmental factors and providing a personalized health recommendation through a mobile application. So, the obesity has become one of the major public health concern worldwide and particularly in India. According to the recent reports which has been published in Times of India on June 3rd, 2026, it is completely revealed on the sharp rise in the obesity among the Indian adults. The burden is particularly high in southern and coastal states such as Puducherry, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and Goa. So this is one of the recent version which has been published in the news article. And also in the 119th episode of Monthly Address, the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighted the alarming trends marking obesity as a critical barrier to India's developmental goals, and crisis is particularly acute in urban transitions like Tumkur. Now, this has been aligned with giving awareness to the publics with aligned national movements like Fit India Movement, Poshan Abhiyan, Eat India Movement, and Kelo India. Despite these initiatives, a lack of personalized region-specific predictive tools hinders effective individual intervention. So therefore, there is a need of early prediction, region-specific analysis, real-time monitoring, AI-based intervention. This motivated us to develop a deep learning framework specifically for the population of Tumkur city. So on this basis, I have done various literatures review, which has been provided various models and their interventions, which has been provided. Like Siddiqui has provided the high accuracy ANN and CNN models, but lacked with a personalization and regional adoption. Whereas Ham et al. Used hybrid machine learning with EHR data but lacked real-time monitoring. And when it comes to Jeong et al., developed a deep health net with 93% accuracy using deep learning. So like this, the various researcher has given their opinion where there is a gap which is identified by these surveys, which is going to be of region-specific data, or it could be a behavioral integration, mobile health support, or real-time intervention. So this is the current situation where the gap has been identified, and this made us to make a problem statement, which the current obesity prediction systems suffer from several limitations. They use generalized data set, lack region-specific characteristics, depend mainly on BMI. They do not integrate behavioral and environmental factors, lack real-time monitoring and personalized recommendation. Hence, the study is completely proposing a comprehensive framework to overcome these limitations. Now, based on the gap, which the research objective which has been made is to predict the obesity risk using the parameters like physiological, behavior, and environmental parameters, and to assess the obesity risk using the one-way ANOVA. So these are the two objectives which has been created, and furthermore to develop the mobile health application. Now, it comes to the objectives which you are going to have made with the two objectives. The novelty of this study includes with region specific ANN model designed specifically for Tumkur city, and the holistic data integration which combines with the three parameters like physiological, behavior, and environmental parameters. And it comes with the AI driven mobile health tool, so which provides a continuous recommendations and monitoring, and a preventive healthcare approach where focusing on early detection and lifestyle modification rather than treatment. This makes the work unique compared to the existing approaches. Now, these are the objectives which has been made when the novelty of the study, and the research methodology which comes to this is, it's I made a fixed method cross-sectional survey design. The data collection was performed using structured questionnaire collecting through the Google Forms, and it is through statistical method and applied the ANN model. Hypothesis testing techniques have been made. The NN model identifies complex nonlinear relationships among risk factors and predicts obesity risk. The overall population was taken to be 241 samples have been collected with the different age groups, that is greater than 10, who have been age limit of 10 years more. There we have been collected with their data. So these data, which completely give a 95% confidence levels by applying a margin of error, that is 6.31, which is sufficient, and the sample adequate is more very much concise with that. So when it comes to NN architecture, the artificial neural network consists of three layers. That is the input layer, hidden layer, and the output layer. When it comes to input layer, the three inputs which is going to be mainly focused is BMI, weight, and height. Then the hidden layer is divided into two, that is hidden layer 1 and the hidden layer 2. The hidden layer 1 is going to have 8 neurons with applying with a rectified linear unit. Then it captures interaction patterns among the variables. When it comes to hidden layer 2, it is going to accept with the 6 neurons, and it extracts deeper hidden representation and reduces type 2 errors. Then comes the output layer, which is going to be of applying with contains one neuron with a sigmoid function application, and it generates a probability value between 0 to 1, indicating the obesity risk. Now, the interpretation under the sigmoid function is basically on, if it is less than 5 percentile, then it is considered to be underweight and it is a nutritional risk. When it comes to a less than 85 percentile, that is normal weight and it's a healthy range. Then when it comes to 85 to 95 percentile, then it says to be overweight, near to the risk. And when it is greater than 95 percentile, it's completely a very high risk and it needs to be at risk. Now, the activation framework will be underweight, normal, overweight, and the obese. Now, the data set profile where the statistical summary is going to be provided, the entire data studied on 241 participants. In that, it has been categorized into behavioral parameters, then it is going to be of environmental parameters and the contributing factors. When it comes to behavioral parameters, we have the lifestyle habits, sleep duration, physical activity, health apps, and the supplements. And the contributing factors for the obesity is going to be for poor dietary choices, sedentary lifestyle, genetic factors, lack of physical activity, stress, and mental state. These findings indicate that obesity is not caused only with a single factor, but also multiple interacting factors are going to be taken. And when it comes to environmental parameters, it has been affecting with a lifestyle like stress and emotion, work schedule, lack of time, health limitations, and all. And with that, we have a demographic data also with their occupations to know where the problem is being occurring. So these are the statistical summary of the three parameters which have been taken. Now, when it comes to the statistical framework, the validated model is completely on one-way ANOVA, which has been used. It is having with a null hypothesis, two hypotheses which have been taken, null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis, where null hypothesis is going to be with a baseline and alternative hypothesis is the risk factors. Now, when it comes to the error, there are two types of error, that is type 1 error and type 2 error. Type 1 error for false positive predictions. Type 2 error is going to be missing hidden obesity cases. The multi-layer NN minimizes these errors and improve prediction accuracy. Now, if you can see here the decision rule, if it is going to cross the threshold factor, it completely says that it is in under the higher risk. So to make a one of the case study of one of the sample which we have been collected. So looking at their weight, height, and BMI, the dietary factors, how it is going to be changing. So these factors will give a sigmoid output decision based on the threshold. We can easily give a recommendation intervention which is going to be made. Now, at the end, it is going to be a mobile health app integration. That is a proposed mobile health tool. The future implementation includes with a mobile application that can monitor obesity risk in real time, provide personalized care recommendation, generate alerts and warnings, and track progress continuously. This bridges the gap between the prediction and practical health intervention. This is how it is going to work in the future with a mobile health app integration. Now, finally, to provide an concluding for the paper, that is, this study completely proposed on novel region-specific ANN framework using data collected from 241 participants of the Tumkur region. The model integrates with a physiological, behavioral, and environmental factors, and we have used with a rectified linear unit and sigmoid activation function, and the framework captures complex nonlinear relationship. The proposed approach is early dialysis, lifestyle modification, reduction of the hidden obesity, and real-time health monitoring through mobile application. Thus, the work contributes completely with the AI-enabled preventive healthcare and can support future public health and personalized healthcare system. So, thank you so much for your valuable time and attention. I would be happy to answer any questions and welcome your suggestions and feedback.
Any question? Actually, I guess he was having network issues, so I guess we can conclude here. So
Thank you so
thank you,
much.
ma'am, for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you so much.
So this was all. I sincerely thank our authors for their excellent presentation and contribution in this session, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. And I hope this session was informative enough. On behalf of our whole team, I thank you for the support during the virtual conference, and we'll be happy to have you in the next version of 2027. So I want to inform all of you that you will be getting the digital certificates through the email within the 2 working days, and the publication will be live within 7 to 8 months. So kindly cooperate with the team of TIBS 2026. And I also want to thank our session chair, Saurabh Sandara sir, for chairing this session, and a token of appreciation to the chair on behalf of our team TIBS 2026 and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and partners. So thank you all for your valuable presence. So at the end, I would like everyone to just switch on their camera so we could just take a snapshot of it for a moment. We are done. So thank you so much for your valuable time, and it was a really good session. You guys have cooperated a lot. So thank you so much. You can leave the meeting.